Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here and welcome to the Game Week 3 deadline stream. Today is our first Saturday deadline. Game week 1, Game Week 2 was all Friday night deadlines. So we're back to the usual streaming time slot, Saturday mornings. Hopefully you guys are up bright and early. Thank you all for joining me. And today there's lots to discuss. I've already made my transfer. I know in the thumbnail of today's video, when I scheduled it last night, I put Johnson or Semenyo, but I have obviously made my transfer already, and as you see, there is Semenyo in my team. I'll touch on why I've gone for Semenyo instead of Johnson, even though I was very, very close to going for Johnson. And yeah, answer some of your questions as well. Lots of other press conference updates that we have. And there's even a potential that Alexander Isak plays tonight, but we'll see. All right, so yes, thank you all for coming early. Let me just say hi to some of you guys in the chat first. Green bread pastry, nice to see you back in the chat. Yes, you are back. Are you farming XP? I have no idea how that works, by the way. I have no idea how this I don't know what you call it, like a badge next to your name, how it works. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Iman says, I'm on a Johnson boat right now. I was on the Johnson boat. I was very much on the Johnson boat, but I've switched to Semenyo, and it's mainly because I've worked my plans all the way up till game week 8, and there is a small potential that I may bench boost in game week 8, in which case I need this player that I'm bringing in to be able to last or at least be safe for 90 minutes until game week 8. And I think I'm more certain of Semenyo getting good minutes for the next 5 game weeks as compared to Johnson getting good minutes for the next 5, because Xavi Simons just signed. I know he probably will play in the number 10 spot, but if there's a world where Thomas Frank wants Pat Matassa to be playing in the 10, and he also wants to fit Xavi Simons in the team, there's actually been quite a number of occurrences in Xavi Simons' past where he's played on the left as well. I think he plays there for Leipzig currently as well. So overall, it just points to me that I'm afraid there could be a potential that he takes minutes off of Johnson. So because of all these different factors, I've kind of dropped off of the Johnson train despite him being on the thumbnail. And yeah, I mean, I won't put it depends on your plans. Like if I wasn't going to bench boost in game week 8, that's still like pending. I haven't confirmed that yet, but because I want to leave that option open for myself, that's why I've chosen to go for a safer pick in Semenyo. So that's a long explanation, but I'm sure we'll get into it when we do a bit of tinkering later, and also show you guys my transfer plans all the way up till even game week 8. I could wildcard in game week 8. I could bench boost in game week 8. I definitely will use some form of a chip then. All right. I see lots of you guys on the Johnson train. If you're on the Johnson train, let me put up a poll actually. Let me just put up a poll. Who is your Palmer replacement? Okay, let's go Semenyo. I think he's quite popular. Let's go Johnson / Kudus. Then we'll also go Ismail Assar. And we'll also go Cunha. Some people went for Cunha. If it's someone else, I can only put 4 options. So if it's someone else, vote for someone else. But I'd be interested to see what's the split. Eric says start 2 of Van de Ven, Reinders, and Anderson. I'd start Reinders and Anderson. Chris says, hi Leon. I transferred in Ndoye. Do you think it's a good idea? I think his fixtures are pretty good. You probably will want to cater for some form of rotation because in game week 4, next game week, he plays Arsenal. So I probably think you'll need some form of rotation there. Who the captain, Cunha or Haaland? I prefer Haaland over Cunha because of penalties. I think Salah will shock a lot of people against Villa. I'm hoping that like he has a great record against Villa. Reinders for captain, probably not. Thoughts on Mbumo and Rogers? Mbumo is fine to keep if you have this week. Rogers as well. I think you can wait and see what happens after this game week. It's a member in the chat, Rav Deep. Thank you for being a member. I am going with Verbruggen, Munoz, Esteve, Ignuri, Pedro Porro, Salah Langa, Ritz, Rogers, João Pedro. Are you on a... Wait, that looks like a... Yeah, it doesn't look like free hit. It probably is your normal team, right? But Bruggen, Munoz, Esteve, Ignuri, Porro, Salah, Langa, Ritz, Rogers, João. Yeah, I mean, it looks fine. Probably only Esteve that I question whether he'd get a clean sheet against Manchester United. But the rest, they look okay. No Munoz. Yeah, I don't have Munoz in my team. Is it worth selling Palmer this week? Yes, he's probably not going to play. Although I wouldn't mind keeping if your bench is strong enough. But then he's going to continue dropping in price. So, yeah. Tom says Barnes. Yes, I should have included Barnes. Henry says, Wood or João Pedro captain? I prefer Chris Wood for captaincy this week over João Pedro, even though I have João Pedro captain. When are you wild carding? I'm either wild carding in game week 8, or if I bench boost in game week 8, then I'll wild card in game week 13. It depends. Akaza says, also, what do you think of Watkins? Aston Villa aren't looking good on goals. My thing with Watkins is his fixtures are so good that I can't justify spending a transfer to take him out. And I just have this feeling Villa will come good sooner rather than later. Like the quality of the players that they have, they are too good, right, to carry on this poor form for a really long time. There will be better fixtures on the horizon. They'll play much weaker teams than they've played so far. And I do feel like then the returns would be pretty good for Watkins. I mean, I just can't justify a transfer to take him out. That's basically it. Ravdeep says, yes, normal team. Yeah, I think your normal team looks pretty good. Rajendra says, I was on Johnson all week. Now I'm thinking about Sarr. If I was to rank Semenyo, Sarr, and Johnson, I think I would rank it as Semenyo. I'd actually put Johnson ahead of Sarr, to be honest. It depends if you're willing to stomach the risk. Like if you're not willing to stomach the risk with Johnson, then maybe you swap it around and you go Semenyo, Sarr, and then Johnson in that order. In terms of safety of minutes as well, it's definitely in that order too, like Semenyo, Sarr, and Johnson. So you'll have to work out your plans for the next few game weeks. That's how I came to transferring Semenyo in, despite me having double Spurs as well. It's because further down the line, I potentially will want to bench boost in game week 8, in which case then I'll need a player who is able to, be trusted with consistent starts for the next few game weeks. Will Njai start? Yeah, I think he will start. Is Gakpo a bad pick with Isak transfer close to complete? I think there's a lot that could happen. But even if the Isak transfer happens, I think Gakpo should be fine. Right? I think Ekitike is more a central player than he is playing out wide or taking minutes off of Gakpo. But we'll see. The transfer window closes before the game week 4 deadline anyways. Would you start Taylor? Oh, for that matter, if Isak actually does go to Liverpool, I do think then Gakpo is a safer second attacker to have as compared to Ekitike. Would you start Telemons or Dewsbury Hall? I would start... Telemons or Dewsbury Hall? Probably Telemons for potential pens. Captain Haaland and João Pedro out. Captain Haaland. Bench order between Telemons, Dewsbury, Hoover, and De Kuyper. The two defenders go last. And then Telemons ahead of Dewsbury. Kudus or Rogers? I prefer Kudus if you're transferring in one this week. What's your opinion on Ndoye? I don't mind him. He's just not one of those names that pop out to me as, replacements for Palmer. I'll go for Semenyo, Sa, Johnson ahead of him. I have a look at the poll as well. Wow, it's so split. It's really quite split. Whew. This week is going to bring quite a bit of swings, I'd say. Is a -4 this week to bring Wood? Is a -4 bad this week to bring in Wood and Romero? I wouldn't say it's bad if your team needs it. Like it's always team dependent. I'm not opposed to hits. Like even this early on in the season, I'm not opposed to hits. It depends on how long you're gonna bring in these players for and what is your plan. Like if it is justified, yeah, I used to not be very willing to take hits, but I think after adjusting my style of play a little bit more from last season as well, I learned a bit as to how hits can actually pay off, right? And it really depends on the players you're removing and how long you're gonna use those players that you're transferring in. I have Romero, Poro, Murillo, and Nico. Play all three or which one to bench? Tricky. I would definitely prefer double Nottingham Forest than double Spurs. Could be benching Romero, to be honest. Start 2, bench 1. Semenyo, Reinders, and Njai. You have to start Semenyo. It comes down to Reinders and Njai. I probably fancy Njai against Wolves this week. All right, let me get back to the questions. Apologies. Got distracted. Bench Vanderven, Agbadu, Williams, or Konza. I think you can bench Agbadu. Would you prefer to get rid of Palmer and Dewsbury Hall or Palmer and Giu? Palmer and Dewsbury Hall. Giu can just be on the bench. Like you don't have to switch to a 3-4-3 formation. Kelleher, Livramento, Milenkovic, Poro, Reinders, Kudus, Bruno Fernandes, Salah, Wood, João Pedro, Watkins. I think the team looks good. Nishan, I think your team looks pretty good. Thoughts on Chris Wood captain? I like it. If I had Chris Wood, I would captain him this week. Kudus or Sar or Barnes. Out of the three, I prefer Sar and then Kudus and then Barnes. Like Barnes basically, like I have an issue with if Isak actually stays at Newcastle and then takes back the number 9 spot, then Gordon is going to play on the left and then Barnes is going to be a bit of under a bit of threat, right? But it really depends on what happens. So it's quite dangerous to transfer in a Newcastle player when there's so much uncertainty. Thoughts on Palmer and Giu out, Semenyo and Wood in? Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind those moves. How about Bruno? I'm kind of worried about him as well. Yes, I have plans to remove Bruno, and actually the idea of getting Semenyo in for Palmer is with the idea that I also want to remove Bruno Fernandes. If I had brought Joakim Anderson, if I brought Elliot Anderson in instead and have lots of money in the bank to upgrade Mark Guiu to a playing forward and then go through a 3-4-3 formation, that would mean that I have to play Bruno Fernandes for the next few game weeks. I worked it out in my transfer plans in the team selection video, where I shared a bit of my plans for the next 6 to 8 game weeks. And if I don't do a mid-price midfielder in for Palmer, I basically have to play Bruno Fernandes for the next 3 to 4 game weeks. And I'm really not comfortable with that, especially with the fixtures that they have. And that's pretty much why I've chosen to go for Semenyo. And then eventually, next week, I will be removing Bruno Fernandes for Cody Gakpo. That move has been penciled in to get double Liverpool against Burnley. Okay. Ramadian says, start Richards or Esteve. Probably Richards. Bench one out of Rogers, Semenyo, and Reinders. I would bench Reinders. Reasoning behind preferring Pedro over Wood. If it's for longer term, then I definitely prefer João Pedro. Would you take a -4 hit to remove Telemons for Semenyo, Ilanga, Rogers, Kudus? Nah, I don't think it's worth a -4. What are we praying for this game week? Spurs clean sheet or Semenyo to pop out once again? So I know I have Semenyo. That is the point, right? I know I have Semenyo playing against my double Spurs defense, and that's pretty much why I took so long to settle on Semenyo. I could have very well just gone for Johnson and go all out on Spurs, but I wanted to firstly manage my risk a little bit, and also when game week 8 comes around, I may want to bench boost, and then Semenyo is better for minutes for the next 5 game weeks as compared to Johnson. Like, I genuinely don't know how Thomas Frank is going to incorporate Xavi Simons into the team. Yes, he's likely going to play as a number 10. Like, he has spoken, Thomas Frank has spoken so much about how he wants to sign a creative midfielder, and that is Xavi Simons. So it's likely that he will come in that spot. But then it's not impossible for Xavi Simons to play on the left as well. Like, he has played there before for the national team, for Leipzig as well. So I just am afraid, and that's why I didn't go for Johnson. Thank you very much, Ralph Deep, for the super chat. It's actually the first one this season. So thank you very much for that super chat. Appreciate that. Your question is, I have 4.9 million in the bank, thinking of upgrading Guiu to Ekitike for -4, as I think Liverpool is going to trash Arsenal. I mean, as much as I think that Ekitike is a good asset, I think that move could wait. Firstly, you save a hit. You don't have to take the -4. But also next week is a much better window to bring in Ekitike against Burnley. And then after that, they have good fixtures as well. They have Everton, as well as game week 6, they have Crystal Palace. So it's not game week 6. Game week 4, they will have Burnley. Game week 5, they will have Everton. Game week 6, they have Crystal Palace. Yeah, correct. Game week 6. So next 3 is pretty good. I think the game week 4 window to transfer in Liverpool players is a better window than now. Okay. Let me get a bit of water first. I hope you guys are doing well on this Saturday morning. Oh, I'm thinking it's morning in the UK, but where I am at is in the afternoon. I don't know where you guys are watching from. Like, I'm always quite curious to know. If you're keen to share, drop in the chat where you're watching from, like which country. I'll give you guys a shout out. All right. Did an early transfer for Gordon. My bench is Esteve, Adingra, Diouf. Worth taking a -4. You could play a dinger, I guess. You could play a dinger. Jackson to buy and confirmed. How much will I miss his FPL legend? Very, very much. Would a Haaland captain? I say just about Haaland. Just about Haaland. Nice. Send all of you guys sending in the locations of where you guys are watching from. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Ravdeep, you're from Vancouver, Canada. Lovely. I've never actually been. I do hope to be able to travel there. Tijani says Lagos, Nigeria. Very, very nice. Afternoon in Nepal from Nishan. South Africa. This is incredible. Ashwin from India. Pavan from the UK. Ryan says, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Congrats on your wedding. Thank you very much, Ryan. I appreciate that. I love how like I'm always curious to see where you guys are from. So thank you guys for sharing. Anubha from India. Incredible. Incredible. Okay, I better get back to answering questions. By the way, once we have a couple more people in, I'm just gonna run through again my transfer plans, just to keep you guys up to date. I have a couple of plans that I've laid out for the next few game weeks, basically. If I replace Palmer with Enjoy plus Johnson and the idea to pick Pedro Porro when he faces... Oh, okay. Like you would replace Palmer with Enjoy or Johnson and the idea to pick Pedro Porro when he faces Semenyo is not a good choice. Who else would I play in my position if... Who else would I play in my position? Like would you start one of my defenders, Anderson or Esteve, in place of Van de Ven, for example? Would you guys? I mean, I don't think it's impossible, but I mean, I back Chelsea to do well against Fulham. I also think that Manchester United, as poor as they are, surely they're going to score against Burnley, right? Surely. If I did my 2 free transfers, then I wanted to activate the free hit. Well, I have 2 transfers for game week 4. Basically, once you make any transfer and then activate your free hit after that, those transfers would be termed as part of your free hit. So the original number of transfers that you had before you made any, that would roll over to next game week and add on to the one that you'll get next game week. So, I mean, for clarity, if you haven't used your transfer so far, right, game week 1, game week 2, you didn't use your transfer. Game week 3, now you're free hitting. You will start game week 4 with 1 free transfer from game week 2, 1 free transfer from game week... game week 3 you won't get because you are on the free hit, and then game week 4 you'll have 1 more, so total 2. You'll start game week 4 with 2. I hope that was clear. Will you use Mark Guiu in your bench boost? Alright, great question. Let me actually bring up the plans. So I'll show you in game week 8, likely what I'll get up to. And I wouldn't actually have Mark Guiu in my team. But that is a great question. So come game week 8, okay, if you guys can see on the screen, come game week 8, this would be likely how my team is going to look. Yes, it says -2 in the bank, but that's because there's already been price changes for Palmer, who has dropped, and Semenyo, who has risen. But I already made that transfer last night, so I have this extra -2 accounted for. So just about as it stands with the amount of money I have, obviously, from now until game week 8, there will be changes. But in terms of what I've mapped out, I can reach this team in game week 8, and I'll still have 1 free transfer. and the plan is to bench boost this week. So I think it's better if I walk through the plans one by one. So I'm going to go all the way back to game week 3 now. So game week 3, the move that I did was to bring Semenyo in. All right, Palmer out, Semenyo in. And this was before the price rise. And then game week 4, plan is to bring Gakpo in for Bruno Fernandes. So that's 2 transfers already in these 2 weeks. Game week 5, the plan is to roll. I'll have something like this with a setup, right? Double Spurs. I have Burnley against so I have Burnley for Nottingham Forest, and then double Liverpool against Everton. Then I have Ismail Sarr against West Ham, Newcastle for Semenyo. Reinders could be benched for Anderson potentially, right? And then up front, Watkins and João Pedro. So I will likely roll this week. Game week 6, this is the week I sell Salah. You see the difference between game week 5 and game week 6. It's pretty much I've sold Salah for Cunha. And with that extra money, I've gone Giu all the way up to Haaland, right? And then that's the 2 transfers used. Come game week 7, I do João Pedro out because João Pedro has Liverpool. I take him out for Gyökeres. Then I'll reach this team in game week 7, and I have a decision in game week 8 whether I want to bench boost or not. So hopefully that was clear. I think if you guys prefer that I start from the start and make the transfers as we go along instead of loading it in like that, please let me know in the chat. Please let me know. Go back to my original team. But yeah, basically I won't have Mark Giu by the time I bench boost. Salah has been brilliant for Spurs and is going to get dropped. Yeah, potentially. That's why I have no idea how Xavi Simons is going to be incorporated. Ashmit says, is Salah a must from next game week? So I think a lot of people I'll be making the video soon, but a lot of people who don't have Salah, is, for example, you're on a Haaland only draft. A lot of people will be tempted to free hit in game week 4 to bring in triple Liverpool, and one of them would definitely be Salah, of course. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I think a game week 4 free hit is going to be quite popular. Lewis says put Esteve or they might get a clean sheet. Surely not a Manchester United fan. Play 8 Nuri or Van de Ven. Has to be 8 Nuri over Van de Ven. Levi says Kenya, currently my favorite streamer. Thank you very much. Thank you. The Budget Traveler says India. Made early transfers yesterday. Now regretting getting Kudus instead of Sarr. Kudus is great though. Toby, nice to see you in the chat. Yes, Singapore. No name says NTU. That almost feels like a different country, yeah. Semenyo or Kudus or Wood or Mateta. I prefer Semenyo over Kudus. I prefer Wood over Mateta. Like and subscribe. Oh yes, please like and subscribe. I'm not a very good content creator. I don't ask people to subscribe and like enough. But if you guys are watching and you haven't liked and you haven't subscribed, please help me out and hit the buttons. How many likes are we on? Let me have a look. 24. 24 likes. There are 100 and how many of you guys watching? There's 98 of you guys watching. Could at least half of you guys help me out and bring the like count up. Hopefully that brings the stream to more people. Thank you very much. Thoughts on Hudson-Odoi? Again, like the fixture this week is good, but he's not a name that jumps out because longer term, I don't think the fixtures are as good as some of the alternatives that we're discussing. What do you think of Grealish over Sarr and Semenyo? Not for me. I don't think Everton's going to play Wolves every week. It's not going to be that easy, or they're not going to play Brighton at home every week. Can Watkins score against Palace? Potentially. Maybe Esteve after Grimsby game, Manchester United will be low in morale. Are we genuinely saying that we think Burnley is going to get a clean sheet against Manchester United when Burnley is away from home? They're playing at Old Trafford. Are we? Okay. Let me put up a poll. Okay, so basically the Semenyo, Johnson, Kudu, Sa, Cunha kind of a poll is very split between Semenyo, the Spurs players, and Sa. All right, so I think just for my sake, I want to know. Okay, let me start a poll. I want to know. Do you think how will Manchester United do against Burnley? Okay, I'll put a couple of options, okay? Win and clean sheet. Win and no clean sheet. I'll put draw and okay, I'll just put draw, right? And I'll put lose. Okay. Okay, let me know what you guys think is the outcome, because it seems like we are genuinely thinking that United is in the mud. My guess, okay, I can't vote in the poll because they don't allow that. YouTube doesn't allow that. But if I was to vote, I think I might say win and no clean sheet. Yeah, and okay, so there's lots of people saying that they will win, right? And it's pretty split, right, between clean sheet and no clean sheet. But either ways, people think that United will win, and in order to win the game, they have to score. And that's pretty much, you're thinking that Estef is not going to keep a clean sheet, then that's my deduction. Let me know in the poll. Okay, let me have a look. Any other questions? Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't already, please join the group chat. This way, please join the group chat. It's just lots of my viewers in the FPL group chat, chatting FPL. I think it's just an easier way for me to connect with you guys. The videos will still happen. If you don't want to join, that's fine as well. But I just think it's an easier way to connect with you guys. If you have any questions, etc., it's completely free. Just scan the QR code to join. Thank you all of you guys for liking, by the way. The like count has jumped quite a bit. I appreciate that. I should start asking you guys to like. I just get carried away once we talk about FPL. There's just so much to discuss, and we're only in game week 3. And I was already wrecking my brains last night thinking about whether to go for Semenyo or Johnson. Like, as much as I miss FPL, this is the part of FPL that is difficult. The 50-50s that are going to have a huge impact. Toby says, this surely word is scary. So many surely predictions have perished. Salah has a strong history against Villa. Yep. I have Salah, Haaland, and Wood. I think I'm going to captain Wood. I won't advise against it. I think that's fine. So excited for Xavi Simons. Yeah, I mean, okay, from a footballing perspective, I think it's great for Tottenham to increase their depth. I think it's great. JT says, thoughts on Salah's interview saying that Arsenal are favourites for the Premier League title. Mind games. I mean, there's always things like that will happen. I don't read too much into it. Satyaki says, hey Leon, do you think it's worth to play Dewsbury Hall and bench Palmer, save the transfers? Again, it depends on your plan. Like, okay, firstly, it's not definite that Palmer's going to come back, even though there will be an extended period of rest because game week 4 is only after the international break. So, but either ways, when you keep Palmer, you're taking a chance that he comes back ASAP. If not, you just start to lose more and more value. And Dewsbury Hall against Wolves, I think is fine, but I don't think it's great. So if you're kind of like 50-50 on making a transfer, I'd actually lean towards selling Palmer. David says, do I take out Watkins and Palmer for Dewsbury Hall and Haaland, or Palmer and Gio out for Kudus? And I prefer the Kudus/Sa and Wood combination. Sean says, who do you support? I support Chelsea. Sujit says, being a dental surgeon, on leisure time watching your videos, you're doing great. Thank you very, very much, Sujit. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. There are 116 of you. Incredible. Incredible. Ravdeep says, yeah, United sucks. Fernandes is the worst player. Yeah, okay. Majority of you guys still say they win. Come on, there's like 75% of you guys saying that they win. 75 is a lot. Realistically, their team is too good. I mean, okay, to be fair to them, against Grimsby, they weren't playing their first team. But then again, the other side of it is that you shouldn't need your first team to win Grimsby. With all due respect to Grimsby, of course. Tijani says, I'm a Manchester United fan and I believe Burnley can keep a clean sheet. Rough times. Andrew says, I was going Palmer and Minte to Ilanga and Barnes, but could get punished with no United assets. So reluctantly, I've gone Barnes and Cunha. That works, I guess, for this week. That works. David says, do I take out... Oh, I've answered this one. Who would you start? Rogers, Mateta, or Reinders? I have Watkins already. Mateta. I definitely have Mateta. He's on pens. Draw and clean sheet. No team won't score. Amorim is clueless. 2 transfers. Taking out Palmer and Telemons for Kudus and Ilanga. What are your thoughts? I think it's fine. I think those transfers are fine. Kudus, though, may not be my number 1 replacement. Like, I might still prefer Semenyo if you can reach to him, or Sa ahead of Kudus, but it seems to me like it's a bit of a budget crunch because Kudus and Ilanga are collectively rather expensive. What do you think of Richarlison? The thoughts on Richarlison is just Solanke does exist and he will come. He's too good to be left out of the squad for too long. Should I do Palmer for Bruno Fernandes? I don't know if I would transfer in Bruno Fernandes this week. That's the thing. And I probably won't. Like, if I transfer in a Manchester United player, it'd probably be Cunha this week. Buy Salah or Manchester United mid, I prefer Salah. A Manchester United midfielder is only good for this week. The next few are really poor. Then until they play Sunderland, I think sometime in game week 6, game week 7. Ilanga, Harvey, Barnes. I prefer Barnes in terms of output, but minutes-wise, he could be a bit more of a risk. Mateta, Wood, or João Pedro. If I'm buying one, it has to be João Pedro this week. But Chris Wood, the main reason why I wouldn't is because there are difficult fixtures for Nottingham Forest moving forward. Again, like rotation matters. It seems like it's very straightforward to just bring Chris Wood in against West Ham and captain him. Like, yes, I understand that. But longer term, like, João Pedro does have good fixtures, right? Satyaki says, thanks, you're one of the best FPL content creators around. Take time out to answer all of us. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you guys enjoy the streams. I'm also glad that I'm able to answer every single one. I hope to do that every stream. Like, I aspire to do that. Sean says, as a fellow Singaporean, really proud and happy to see your work. Called you on FPL therapy too. Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate that. Basically, it was their first team as well, besides one or two players. Fair enough. I mean, there was Ahmad and a couple other, like Harry Maguire. I don't know. United just is very puzzling. It's very puzzling because when they started the season, with the recruitment that they had to bring in Cunha and Mbumo, both very talismanic players for Brentford and Wolves respectively. And then they signed Sesko just before the window closes. I don't know, we were expecting good things, but it is what it is. Manchester United being Manchester United. Sorry, give me a moment. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Do I replace Palmer with Barnes, Sarr, or Rogers, leading towards Barnes? I'd actually have Sarr ahead of Barnes. Best combination in free hit, Porro and Barnes, or Livra and Kudus. Free hit, then Porro and Barnes. If it's free hit, then it's Porro and Barnes. Yeah. 2 free transfers, 1 midfielder, 1 striker spot. Plan to get Chris Wood ahead of João Pedro, and I'm afraid Chelsea will score goals. Do you think Enzo/Neto can cover João Pedro, or just go without Chelsea attacker? I don't think Neto/Enzo can cover João Pedro. That's one. If you plan to get Chris Wood, and then you're getting a midfielder as well, I don't think it necessarily has to be a Chelsea attacker just to cover the Chelsea attack. I think João Pedro in and of himself, like if you are really fearing João Pedro, you bring him in and sacrifice, not having Chris Wood, like many of us. But generally, João Pedro's fixtures over the longer period is better than Chris Wood's. So it depends again, what are your plans? Obviously, things like free hit as well play a part. If you are on a free hit for game week 4, for example, when Nottingham Forest play Arsenal, and you don't have to worry about Chris Wood playing against Arsenal, then by all means, I think going for Chris Wood ahead of João Pedro is fine. So chip strategy is quite important. I think especially now that they've given us so many chips, like 4 to use in the first half of the season, 4 to use in the second half of the season, I just feel like chips play so much bigger of a role in deciding our transfers. Like, for example, I wouldn't have gone for Semenyo if I wasn't planning to bench boost in game week 8. And if you told me that I was going to bench boost in game week 8 last season, I tell you that's impossible, because bench boost last season, there was only 1 chip and everyone saves it for the double game week at the later half of the season. But a prime example is the bench boost in game week 8 for my team, that there's a potential I do that, pushed me into going for Semenyo. So I think chip strategy is important to add context to the transfers. Levi says, congrats on the wedding. Thank you very much. planning yours is, oh, congratulations. 2 weeks from now, any tips? I'd say just enjoy yourself. Like all the planning, right? As much planning as you can do. There will be situations on the day that you'll have to adapt, and just try not to worry too much. Just enjoy yourself. It'll all work out. That's what I'd say. And congratulations, Levi. Paul says, why Pedro captain? I don't really like Bruno Fernandes as a captain. Like, honestly speaking, if you look at my team, who else would you captain? Like, I'm not going for Salah against Arsenal. Salah, Semenyo, Reinders, they don't come off as captain options to me. So it's down to Bruno Fernandes, Watkins, and João Pedro. Watkins hasn't been playing very well, or Aston Villa as a whole haven't been playing very well. Then it comes down to Bruno Fernandes or João Pedro, and Manchester United are looking so poor. So then it becomes João Pedro then. I mean, it's as simple as that. For now, it's still on João Pedro. Simon says on a wild card, Porro plus Lacroix or Munoz and Van der Ven. Prefer Munoz and Van der Ven. Yeah, I think Munoz, attacking threat wise, and the fixtures that they have moving forward, incredible. The only thing you'll have to consider is Europe for Crystal Palace. That could make them a little bit leggy. Like, the depth of Crystal Palace is definitely not as strong as that of Spurs. So it's worth considering. Are you going with João Pedro captain? Yes, for now that's the plan. Watkins dropped in price already? I don't think so. Oh, yes. This morning. Yes, you're right. Ah, man. What a shame. Can you believe that if we had gone for Gyökeres instead of Watkins from the get-go, we'd be so many points ahead? What a shame. JOI says hello from Malaysia. Nice to have you on the stream, JOI. Where is Haaland? Haaland's not in my team. Aren't you worried to have two Spurs defenders and Semenyo? Yes, I am. So I am thinking of whether I can start someone like Anderson instead. If anything, it'd be Anderson instead of Van der Ven, which I should actually give more thought to. But I also do like double Spurs defense. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I should actually consider starting Anderson ahead of Van der Ven, to be honest. Like, Anderson should be quite good for DEFCON this week, I think. Aiden, thank you for subscribing. Thank you very much. I'll think about it, and I will update on the socials, Instagram, etc. Okay. I'm gonna be streaming for at least the next 10 minutes. So if you haven't got your questions answered, I apologize. Please just help me out. Type it in the chat again. I'll speed through everything. Okay, Wood or Pedro? Again, it depends on your chip strategies. If you're free hitting in game week 4, then probably Chris Wood. Replacement for Palmer, Johnson, Sarr, Semenyo, Neto, or Cunha. What do you think? I lean towards Neto or Sarr. For me, it's Semenyo, then Sarr, then Johnson. Neto, I've seen a couple of people mention Neto. I'm just not super keen on Neto. He just doesn't seem to be a player that has a very high ceiling. Like, I would be very surprised if he scores like 2 goals and gets 1 assist in a game, as compared to like Semenyo getting 2 goals and 1 assist. Like, I don't think that's past him. If Watkins doesn't perform, how about we rotate to Richarlison, Gyökeres, or even Haaland for your case, drop Salah, and run with 3 forwards? But the fixtures for Watkins is still good though. Like, then it'd be very hard to justify selling Watkins, because I don't see a need to sell Watkins when he plays those easy fixtures. Like, it's genuinely good fixtures. So, yeah, I mean, you can see it's Crystal Palace this week. It's Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, Burnley. Like, Burnley in game week 7 as well. Like, how do we justify selling Ollie Watkins? I just can't find it in me to do it. I don't feel the need to do it. Even if he blanks this week, like, I feel like I'm just going to keep him through all the way. It's like I'll die on the Ollie Watkins on the Ollie Watkins hill, probably. Already had Mbumo. Should I sell Palmer and bring in Bruno? Nah, I don't think you need so many Manchester United players. Would you start Petrovic or Perry? Not ideal for either. Maybe Petrovic for saves, I guess. Which 2 would you start out of Reinders, Njai, and Sarr? I'll do Njai and Sarr. Who do you bench? Rogers, I've answered this one. I start Mateta and Rogers. I would bench Reinders. Thoughts on Doi? I don't mind him. He's just not one of those names that pop out to me. I prefer the rest that we've been discussing. Cunha captain, if you brought him in, I don't mind it. Who do I bench? Semenyo, Sarr, Kudus, or Gakpo? Don't like the look of having Semenyo and Kudus in midfield, considering they're playing each other. I think having attackers playing each other is better than, for example, in my spot, I have 2 Spurs defenders and Semenyo. I'm actually seriously considering starting Anderson ahead of Van de Ven. Seriously thinking about it. Thoughts on Esteve in the free hit team? Definitely not. Thoughts on Esteval on a free hit team? Also don't think I'd go there. Sarr or Reinders? Sarr. Watkins to Gyökeres? Not this week. Semenyo and Van de Ven, or Kudus and Romero? Semenyo and Van de Ven. Don't marry your bags, only marry your wife. Fair enough, fair enough. Bench 1, Sarr, Reinders, or Anderson. I would bench... either one of Reinders or Anderson. Flip a coin. Probably Reinders. All right. I think that's about it. Any last questions, let me know. And we probably call it an end of the stream. But I've had fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be on the group chat. I gotta get this pointing right. Yeah, I'll be on the group chat. The QR is there. Answering all your questions all the way up to the deadline. So if you are, I don't know, rewatching this and you haven't managed to got your questions answered in time, just post it in the chat. And yeah, we'll continue chatting in there. There's about 1,250 people in there, so yeah, it's a pretty nice community. I quite enjoy it, so I hope to chat with some of you guys in there. All right, last couple of questions. Who would you bench? Rodgers, Mateta, or Reinders? I have Watkins already. I would go. Oh, I've answered this one, Simon. I answered it a couple of times. Ravdeep, thank you very much. You are a legend. Another super chat. 2 for you today. You are an absolute legend. Appreciate all the support. And Ravdeep, I know you're in the Gold members chat as well. So chat with you in there. Appreciate that. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. All the best for game week 3. Right. Again, if you have any questions, just find me in the chat. If not, I'll post my final team on Instagram. I have to decide whether I want to play Anderson ahead of Van Vern, and if I am captaining João Pedro, which is very likely still going to be the case. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you in Game Week 4 content. All the best for Game Week 3. And Game Week 4 content is going to come out right today, right after the last game. And yeah, I'll catch you guys again in the video. See you very, very soon. Bye-bye.